I am back at Cactus Park, and I was getting some rifle work done, and I just want to shoot some rounds here. This little backdrop here. Yeah. I figured I'd just talk to you guys while I just maybe shoot some guns, just do something chill. Car looks really kind of cool out here. It's almost sunset. I really like the headlights of this car. I think they look pretty slick. Kind of remind me of a Porsche in their kind of unique design. Let me see where I can set this up. So, in my opinion, is the GX460, is it better than the Toyota 4runner? Well, I had the Toyota 4runner for about 40,000 miles, and I used it extensively in Utah and also Colorado. Sometimes I felt like I needed power that I didn't have in the 4runner, and with the GX460 being a V8 and having 6 gears and a larger displacement, I don't feel that lack of torque and power, especially in high elevation, going up hills and things like that. It seems rather effortless. And the 4runner, man, I remember using cruise control on the 4runner. It just didn't know what gear to be in. It was struggling all the time. It just didn't know what to do with itself sometimes. Let's see. So I was getting some rifle work done, and hey, slides into place just nicely. Nice. You know, I was having a failure to eject, and looks like it's working now. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so and what I really like about the GX460 is that it's on the same assembly line as the 4runner, and it's manufactured in Japan. I don't think I'd be very comfortable buying a Toyota manufactured in Texas or Mexico or even Kentucky. Although I know the Camry is fairly reliable for the most part, I just feel like a Japanese car should be built in Japan. A Porsche should be built in Germany. I know a lot of the Porsche Cayennes are built in Hungary, but at least it's still Europe. The Porsche 911 is still built in Stuttgart, Germany. And there's a reason why it's one of the best cars of its class. And there's a reason why this GX460 is one of the best cars in its class. And I don't know, I just think that I don't know, I just love the fact that it's still Japanese, and it feels like a Japanese Cadillac, probably even better than an American Cadillac. I don't know. Ooh. My rifle works now, which is cool. Sorry for the wind. But yeah, let's look at the car a little bit. Is it better off-roading? Well, I think so. I actually think so. Because this car, stock, doesn't come with a lot of the gadgets the 4runner has in terms of crawl control, multi-terrain select. You can get those options on this car and on some of the previous GX models from like 2010 to I'm not sure. You can find those models with it. But I don't really, all I do every time I come to a dirt road or maybe slight off-roading, I just do 50-50 center lock. And if I'm going up hills and things like that, I do lock the center. Sorry, I go into 4 high and maybe I'm in a lower gear or something like that. But for the most part, without the gadgets and gizmos and the awesome, really cool features that the 4Runner had, I think this car does just fine with the simplicity it has. And I do wish part of it you had some manual controls, like the manual shifting into 4-wheel drive, but it does make it a little convenient to have a button or a switch to do those things. I guess that's the luxury feature of it, but me, I don't know, I like the raw feeling of it a little bit. I think the ride comfort too is noticeably better than the 4Runner because I don't have the TRD Pro exhaust. I don't know. The my safety's on, don't worry. Yeah, because I don't have the TRD Pro exhaust, the car is noticeably more comfortable. And the KDSS suspension, which you can get on the 4Runners, some of the models, man, it makes it it makes it drive rather sporty, especially around roundabouts and things like that. And the articulating suspension, I think, I don't know, makes a really cool difference sometimes. Well, and also, I don't know, I just think that the 4Runner, because it was rear-wheel drive most of the time, I don't know, there were some moments where I did lose traction, especially in very wet and icy conditions. So I would always go to 4 high. I like that this car has a 40-60 split, so it's always kind of an all-wheel drive. And to me, that just feels a little bit more secure. And yes, I do think it just depends on sometimes the tires that you have. My 4Runner did fairly well with just having normal KO2 tires and in rear-wheel drive most of the time. But I think just having that all-wheel drive just gives me a little bit more comfort, especially I have on-demand power whenever I want it. Though I don't know if it torque splits. I don't think there's any torque vectoring in this car. It's not a super handling all-wheel drive like an Acura. But you can always 50-50 it if you want, if you need that extra traction. But for the most part, this car does really, really well just in everyday driving. I haven't really had any slipping or anything like that. I've done a few little Tokyo drifts here and there in the sand and whatnot, but you can't fully send it because it can't just have the rear-wheel drive only. That would be pretty cool if you could. If you could Tokyo drift it and teriyaki boys all the way to your heart's content. Yeah. The only thing equivalent I will say about the two cars is the gas mileage. Once you start adding modifications and things to the car. So when I fill up the tank, I get about 280 miles to the tank. And I will say, I actually have been filling up mid-grade fuel on this road trip. I've been cheaping out a little bit. So both cars, I got about 280 to 300 miles to the tank. When I first got both cars, first got this car, because the car was brand new, had 0 miles, the computer didn't know what to calculate or what to make its statistical basis off of. So I was getting 350 miles to the tank. But with driving and my spirited driving, I got more and more close to 300 miles to the tank. And once you start adding weight and big tires and all these types of things, now I get about 280 miles to the tank. And I average about 15 to 17 miles per gallon. I've rarely ever seen 17, but I would see 17 on my 4Runner, even with some light modifications and five gears. This car, I rarely see 17 miles per gallon. I mostly see 16 or in the city it's usually like 11 or 12 or 10 or something like that. So it's pretty bad. And the reason I've been filling up mid-grade fuel is because I'm being a cheap bastard and I don't want to spend money on premium all the time. Will I reap what I sow? Is that what you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Ooh, I left the little bump stock, not the bump stock, but the little rubber stock thing. Where the hell did it go? Oh well. I might have to dislocate my shoulder. Sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? But yeah, I don't know. Gas mileage is pretty bad on these cars, and that's something to look out for either one. So if you're deciding between a 4Runner and a GX460 in terms of gas mileage, you're going to get about the same miles for the tank, regardless of what you do. So if you're going to get the same miles for the tank for what you do, one of the options is a V8 and 6 gears, and the other option is a 4-liter V6 and 5 gears, and maybe a couple more gadgets and gizmos. But as far as gas mileage goes, you're going to get about the same range. But if you are a stickler for paying premium gas, you have to put premium in this car. Me, I'm being a cheap bastard, and I'm not doing it all the time. What about looks, though? At first, when I got the GX460, I wasn't too thrilled with the looks of it in the rear. I thought it was a little bit bulbous and a little bit oddly shaped. It looked rather alien, so to say. But I saw off-road builds of the car, and I knew in time, with some certain modifications and some certain trims and pieces that you could pick, it would start to look how I wanted it to look. And don't worry, I'm picking up all my brass. You should never litter. It's against the rules. Well, but I'll tell you this. The looks of the car are subjective, of course. I think the front, from all angles, looks very beautiful. It looks kind of menacing, it looks cool, it looks tough. The 4Runner looked cool and beautiful from the front as well. This one right here is a 44 Magnum, so not the 4570. So you can put, I think, up to eight rounds, or 8+1. I think right now I have hollow points in here. I'm just burning through some ammo because I'm bored and it's Friday. But as far as looks in the cars, I think both cars look exceptionally unique. The 4Runner has a nice, boxy, masculine, muscular look, and I think it appeals to a lot of buyers, a lot of bros, a lot of CrossFit people. I think a lot of people just like that look. It looks tough, and the roll-down rear window is a big plus. This GX460 definitely looks more of like a soccer family car, you know? Something you'd see at the mall, something like that. And, well, I don't know. I think over time, building the GX460, it looks a lot better, in my opinion, than the Toyota 4Runner. Because I've made it how I want to make it. Whereas the 4Runner, I was kind of stuck with how it looked. For the most part. I mean, you can modify it, you can do some things to it. But I wanted to keep the car looking as stock for the most part from the exterior. I have a lot of hidden modifications. And, well, I don't know. It's just, I'm glad where this car has come in a direction and how it looks so far. It takes a while and it takes some time and it takes a lot of money to make the GX460 look how you want it, I believe. Now you can get certain models with the midnight, or they have a black appearance package, which I think adds nice accents and things like that. But the Toyota 4Runner, I think out of the box, looks really cool. It looks tough and it looks ready to go. The GX460, I think it takes a little bit of time. But looks are always subjective, and they are always what you want to see in a car. But I love that Toyota adds the safety sense and the LED headlights and things like that. Surprisingly, a lot of people flash me with their high beams on the highway in the 4Runner and this car on lonely dirt roads. I'm just in the normal light setting, but they think I have my high beams on, which is not the case. So I don't know. But yeah, looks, I think you can't really go wrong with either, to be honest. But at the end of the day, most cars will get to places like this, no problem. You can take your Nissan Altima out here. But for some of those trickier mountain spots back there that you need some high clearance, I think your Toyota 4Runner or either one of these cars will be perfectly happy, perfectly composed to come out here and just have fun. Either car that you get, you know you're going to get Toyota reliability because it's built 100% in Japan, assembly and engine. And that's basically just certificate of truth. There may be a lemon or two out there for sure, but I think we've seen with the new twin turbo Tundras, we've seen a lot of lemons come out of nowhere. So man, you know, it's just, you get what you pay for, right? If the car is built in San Antonio, Texas, and it doesn't have the same quality control as a car built in Japan, look, they may have the same standards on paper, but I'll tell you what, I don't think American manufacturing can beat Japanese manufacturing or German manufacturing. At least not, maybe not today's standards. I don't know. That's just my biased opinion. And I guess being of Asian descent, my family has always gravitated toward Honda or Toyota. We did have Nissan in the past, but ever since their merger with Renault and whatever the hell else they're doing, they've gone to the dogs, as they say. But yeah, I mean, man, dude, just being out here, just doing things like that I can't get in Ohio, just having a good time with my GX460. I'm really falling in love with the car. I'm happy I picked it. I'm happy I took it on its maiden voyage out here. And I think the car looks great now with all the little accents and mods and things like that. It looks tough, it looks mean, it looks lifted. And I couldn't really ask for anything better. And what you'll notice these days, I mean, well, before 2023 ended, you'll notice that a brand new TRD Pro 4Runner was only a couple $1,000s less than a, you know, nicely optioned GX460. So it was around $58,000 for a TRD Pro 4Runner I saw in 2023, late 2023, close to 2024. These were about 65, 62, even some were selling for 60. So, and you have Apple CarPlay. Yeah, you don't have some of the gadgets and gizmos of the 4Runner, but for just a few more $1,000s and maybe a couple $100s more in car payment, if you finance, you're going to get a V8, you're going to get more torque, but you're in for a hell of a ride because you're going to be spending a lot more money to modify this car how you want. You could probably just put wheels and a lift and you're good to go, but I did the whole control arms. I did not cheap out on my suspension. That was a $5,000 investment, and I am happy I picked a quality high-end suspension just because, you know, I wanted to take a beating, and I don't want to have the risk of being stranded by breaking something or snapping something. So I made sure not to cheap out on the suspension. That was the main culprit of my expenses. But Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro and the TRD Off-Road with the Bilstein and the Fox, whatever, man, you're pretty much good to go right out of the box. Even the Limited probably has a really good suspension, but I've never been in it. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just happy. And now I'm kind of ranting a little bit, but yeah, you can't really go wrong with either.